Gentlemen's Club. Here we are at the precipice of the beginning of the season. We got some hot news coming off the NFL, which we're going to talk about. But I'm joined by the handsome little squirt gun. There he is, Mr. MJG. How are you today, my man?
Oh, I am so great. Daniel Jones, the starting quarterback for an NFL team, and he's the starting quarterback for a fantasy football team in our league. So that just means it's not going to be good for that person. But I am super excited. NFL is almost here. Let's go, Dan. Let's get it.
Let's get it. So hot off of the presses, we got a little bit of a quarterback, I guess, controversy, if you will. So I don't know if Anthony Richardson went to the front office and said, "Hey, I'm a little low on endurance. Can you start Daniel Jones for me?" What's your thoughts on this? We got Daniel Jones, how the mighty have fallen, starting for the Indianapolis Colts. What do you think?
Yeah, it's just a safe pick for the Colts. I mean, obviously, you'd want Anthony Richardson starting from if I'm watching a football game. I don't want to see cross-eyed Daniel Jones, overthrowing Josh Downs by 15 yards. But he's a little more accurate than A-Rich. But I think A-Rich is a little more fun. Will lower the shoulder. He might injure it along the way. But I think the Colts are playing it safe. So I'm a little disappointed. But A-Rich will probably be starting sometime in the middle of the year. Like, Daniel Jones ain't making it through. He ain't going to hit 14, 15, 16 games, that's for sure.
You and I have talked about it. Now that we've solidified a little bit, I'm going to switch different teams. Kenny's boy, Jackson Dart, when is he going to start? Over, under on what game he starts? What are you thinking here?
Oh, I think he'll be in like week 11. Week 11 sounds good.
I have it at week 8.
Yeah, I guess I haven't looked at their bye week to see when their bye is. Probably if they're like at least a few games under 500. Probably after their bye. What's their bye week?
I got to look it up. I can probably find out here real quick. But another question for you, another controversial thing. Joe Flacco named starter.
Yeah, it's like Ant and I didn't see that coming. Oh wait, no, we did. Like, Ant kept Jerry Jeudy. I drafted David Njoku for like $2. Here's the beauty of Joe Flacco. He'll probably start like 7-8 games, but who could have saw this coming? Well, anyone who pays attention to the NFL. But we'll see how long that lasts for my white Jameis Winston. But I think you got about a good 7 or 8 games for Joe Flacco.
Are you insinuating at all that some league managers do not pay attention to what's going on in the NFL? Is that what I'm hearing?
Potentially. Some might not be aware of what is going on in the league. Some may be aware when their Twitter notifications go off, but maybe they don't get it until their ESPN notification logs in. Who knows for sure? But I think there might be some people who are trying to just catch up a little bit.
Do you think that they're using you as a crutch? They're reliant on your RIP tweets.
Yeah, I think it's more of a bit than anything. But yeah, maybe I have to reel that back in to make sure people are kind of reading their own rumor mills and stuff like that. So maybe I have to just kind of reel that in a little bit.
I think that you do. I think you're giving people an out right now by giving some of these inside things that you get alerted on, and then you alert the league because we know how much you enjoy trolling people and talking about things controversially to get our managers excited. But I do think you need to reel it in to see what happens. We might get another McKinnon draft if you stay away from the RIP stuff.
Yeah, I don't like to create controversy in this league. I like to be pretty even-keeled. I don't like to troll. I don't like to boast or gloat about anything. So I'll probably just make sure I just more even-keeled,
Okay. If that's...
just kidding. I ain't going to do reverse psychology din here. No, none of that. We're going to keep rolling. Even if I get last place again, which I won't, we're going to keep talking. We're going to keep chiming in. We're going to keep trolling, poking, and prodding.
Week 14, by the way, to answer your question, is when their bye is, the Giants.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, that's a late bye. So
yeah,
that's a late bye.
Speaking of drafting and talking about, we're fresh off the heels of our wonderful draft. We had some wonderful challenges go out. What was your favorite challenge?
My favorite challenge Well, I think from like a sheer of just willingness to push through, seeing Billy P crab walk, see him kind of stutter, kind of tremble a little bit, and then he just pushed through, especially after Wyckoff made a little joke. Like that was, you got the whole league clapping when Billy P hit that door at the end. Man, the hot dog challenge, I think that was glorious to see. I had to FaceTime Mikey T for that one. And then, to try and see Wyckoff's determination, like everyone else kind of bitched out and kind of stopped and, oh, my hot dog fell off. But Wyckoff just tried to just keep going. I thought he was going to get it there.
Me too.
But I think that was probably my favorite one.
Dude, I think Michael Wyckoff's name should be the Glizzy King. That should be the name of his new team.
Maybe if he gets last place, we can go that Glizzy Master, So
right.
We'll see. But I don't think he's getting last place this year. I don't think Wyckoff's getting that this year.
Best draft ever for Wyckoff?
Yeah, I think he spent on his studs that he wanted to spend on. Maybe not his exact studs, but at least people in the range of or in the tiers that he should have gone for. So I think he overpaid on Mahomes, but I tell him that every year anyway. So, but hey, sometimes you got to get your guys.
Yeah, and you were saying something else about the draft challenges. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh yeah, no, I think a few things, right? Like Billy P rocking with the the Rain Man exact number call out of Beard's 3 players drafted.
Wow.
That was mind blowing. And then, I think the food challenges, I think it's creating a little fun little controversy because we got some feedback from some managers. Hey, not, less food challenges, but I got feedback of like, oh, don't do some more food challenges. So I'm excited to see what you and I are able to come up with food challenge next year because they will be a part of the league. But we're also, Did and I are open to feedback. So we'd much rather people share their perspective than keep it inside their belly because we want to have it come out,
Yeah, feedback is always welcome. It doesn't necessarily mean we're going to enact on it, but feedback's always welcome. We're always listening, right? We're always listening.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you for the feedback.
Yeah, thank you for the feedback. Wonderful suggestion in reduction of food challenges. We'll put it underneath consideration. I think my favorite challenge of the night had to have been how we kicked off and showed Peter what this league's all about. AJ Brown, hothead, like some managers in our league, did the hot dog challenge, and I gotta give it to Michael Wyckoff. Not only did he attempt it all the way to the end, he's the Glizzy King, but he took over other people's challenges. And when he drafted Patrick Mahomes and had Peter spread ketchup all over those 3 items and ate it like a champ, that was a sight to be seen, man.
Yeah, especially right on that Oreo and that. I don't know if y'all were close enough to see the mint chocolate chip ice cream. It was in the cooler with ice, so it was as kept frozen as it could, but it was like mint chocolate chip soup is more what it was like. And not only did he take like 1 or 2, I think he took like a good 3 or 4 spoonfuls and didn't even flinch. So hands off to Wyckoff. Wyckoff and I ran it up at the table, by the way, the blackjack table. We ran it up. So anyone next year want to stay late, we could hit some blackjack later on too. So
I was a little recipient of you running it up. So thank you again. I appreciate you spending some of my hard-earned money. So that was great to see.
Let's go.
So we did our draft. We talked about the challenges. How about some of the results of our draft? We had Peter, newcomer to our league, first auction draft ever. How'd he bolt in your opinion?
Yeah, I don't know if he was trying to mirror his boy Ant and like maybe saving money. I think maybe he was looking over and seeing like, oh, Ant's not spending money. Maybe I should not spend my money. And then, I think Ant was like, do I do what I did last year because I made the playoffs and maybe I'll just save some money and then spend it on FOB later on in the year. That way, it turned into Jordan Addison going for $20 when he was probably projected to go for like a 4 or 5 spot. But, I think that was a fun part to see. I counted up. It was almost about $40 left over on the table from all of the fantasy football managers, and the top kind of not victims, but the top people who did that were Kenny, Ant, and Peter. So not to say draft dollars left over is going to be any indication of how well you do in the season, but that was a really interesting thing that kind of caused some disproportionate values for some top stud wide receiver and quarterbacks, in my opinion.
Hopefully people remember that $40 notation, that could be a good trivia question, along with the managers that left that money there, right?
Or just some good fantasy advice in general. Like, you know, in the auction league, you'd probably want to spend most of your money and not on. You probably don't want like $20 to $30 on your bench.
Well,
it's probably just a good thing to live by.
You could
we give fantasy football advice here. Remember, Din? We give advice here.
Pro tip, right? Pro tips. Or you could be the opposite and be like me and just spend all your load, blow it off right at the first 5 minutes, call it good, and sit there for the next 3 hours.
Yeah, Jamar and Burrow, right? Like, is that what it was?
Yeah, Jamar and Burrow. I had to spend the money. Those were my go-getters this year. That's what I wanted. Next year, I'll have some other go-getters. It'll be obvious when we're bidding, obviously.
What was your max bid? Like $11 at one point, $10?
Max bid? Oh, my max bid for a long time was $11. For a long time.
How was that for you?
You know, it was good and bad. Good in the fact that I got the guys that I wanted and no one else was going to buy them away from me. Bad where there were some sleepers and or rookies that I really knew were going to pan out, I think, in my opinion, that I wasn't going to get because of a couple dollars over my $11 price point. So it was a little gut-wrenching, but I also had to have solace in the roster that I have. So that's the bet I made. I'm sleeping in it, and I'm sleeping well, and I'm excited to see what happens.
I'd much rather have not enough money at the end for some players than have too much money at the end for scrubs. But hey, that's my philosophy. I've only won the league 3 times, so I don't know. What am I saying? You know?
Well, I think that gives you the street cred, as some youngsters would say, to dish out the pro tips. That's for Anthony. That's also for Peter. I know you guys are bankers. You're probably conservative by nature. Spend your fucking money, boys. Spend your money. Now, Ant's going to come back and say Breece Hall $13. Is that the steal of the draft?
It's definitely not. Like, there's a really good chance that Breece Hall gets traded to another team. Like, not on Peter's team, but the Jets just trade him. Like, they just say, oh, well, we don't need him. The new regime doesn't really like Breece Hall, so $13 is not the steal of the draft. I would say top tier players going for $10 less are probably more steals of the draft would be my thing.
So what would you say would be, just from immediate recollection, the steal of the draft right now?
I'd say someone like CD Lamb, I think going for the 40s. Jetta went in the 40s. They should easily be in the 50s. Jaden Daniels, Hurts going for 37 and 40.
CMC.
When they should easily be in the 50s. Yeah, CMC, the solid one. I do think Peter got a steal for Justin Fields. Like, I would say Justin Fields at $9 compared to Breece Hall at $13 in a Superflex league, where quarterbacks who run generally score more fantasy points than quarterbacks who throw. So I'd say if anyone on Ant's team, it would be Justin Fields, not Breece Hall.
Wow. Okay. So give me your hot take on some of the managers' drafts. So Kenny, let's start with him. Sorry, Kenny, this is not all eyes on you for the right reasons, by the way. Accidentally, purposefully, I don't know, drafted 2 tight ends, one as a keeper, and then ended up with George Kittle. Talk to me.
Yeah, I was in the vicinity of Kenny, so it was kind of fun to see, Beard, Brian was like $1, $2, $3, $4, and then Beard bumped it up from $5 to $20 right at the same time as Kenny was trying to hit the $5 or $6, and then 21, and then Kenny kind of looks at me and says, "Oh shit, that was an accident." And I'm trying to have a poker face, but I think everyone in the room kind of saw what was happening. And then I think Kenny had to change his shirt after because he was sweating so much after that mistake happened. And it just, you could tell, it just threw him off. Like, he didn't know what to do afterwards. He needed a quarterback. Other people were upbidding him, and he kind of bowed out. So I think Kenny kind of just panicked after that, which is interesting because usually we see pretty good composure from him. It's interesting that, like, he's able to draft better from Alaska than he is able to in person. So we'll have to make sure he's at all drafts just to make sure that going forward he's surrounded by an environment and not kind of solo.
Do you think that the marriage will have a good rebound after what Omar did to him? Or are they going to get a divorce?
I think the thing that hopefully everyone notices about Omar is, like, Omar will dig his heels in against anyone. Like, if you try and lock sights on Omar, he will try and lock sights right back at you. It doesn't matter if it's his boy Kenny, if it's Din, it doesn't matter who it is. So But yeah, like I think everyone knows all is fair in love and war and fantasy football. So
Alright.
anything's on the table. So
How about Daniel Dominguez? Awfully quiet during the draft. Came in with 0 keepers. Said he wanted to start fresh, whatever that meant. Left some viable keepers of note. Kyron Williams, right? What's your take on that? In his
well, I
draft?
just just looking. I think the interesting part is I'm just looking really quick from last year. He had Jameson Williams after a trade with Cage. He had JMO, who he could have kept for $11. Do you know what he drafted him for?
What?
He drafted him for $18 this year. So
little $7 discount.
yeah, so it's super interesting. I think Daniel wears his Cowboys jersey and he says, I'm not going to go after the Cowboys. But his RB2 is Javonte Williams. I didn't know Javonte Williams is still in the league. But, here we are. So I love Daniel drafting his guys. Josh Allen is his guy, right? But yeah, I think he probably overthought I'm not going to do a keeper because I'm going to kind of repeat my first year when I got champ. But then he could have easily kept JMO, could have easily kept Kyron. But chose to maybe dig his heels in like some people in this league do. I don't know if you're familiar with digging your heels in. Have you done that before in anything, Din, ever?
I do on certain things, and it has to do with the stability of the league. I will absolutely dig my heels in there. Everything else is pretty fair game. But come at me in the chat. You might get something back. Some may call it sensitive. It's just actually me coming back at you and you can't handle it.
But yeah, back to Daniel Dominguez. Yeah, his only every other Cowboy would have been great, but he's starting Javonte Williams. But he's got a high risk, high reward team, which I'm a fan of. But I would have loved to hear maybe like a second or third word come from him in the draft day. That'd been kind of cool.
Yeah, other than hi and goodbye, something in between there, right? Let's talk a little bit about the beard. Champ trying to run for a repeat. Went after some, got a rookie on there, kept Ladd. I love Ladd. Got Amari Hampton. He's got Brian Robinson, Herbert, Golden. He's got Hawkinson on his team. And then he's running with QB2 with Jordan Love. What do you think about his team?
Yeah, I was a little disappointed in his draft. So let me say this. I was actually he price enforced. Beard was quietly price enforcing, which again, I'm not saying everyone has to price enforce, but if you're going to say in the corner, he should go for more, but you're not willing to bid 50% of what the player's value is, you should probably just zip it a little bit. But Brian was price enforcing. I would rate his price enforcing higher than his actual draft. I think having Ladd, Herbert, and Hampton all
Triple
in one
stack.
team, I don't know if, that's not a high EV outcome. It's going to be hard for all three of them to do well in one game. It can happen for sure, but I don't know if you're maximizing your team. And, we were kind of criticizing DD for keepers. When you look at his starting lineup, do you generally advise as you're having people do auction in a keeper league, do you advise them to have a keeper and then have them on the bench? Do you advise that as a positive thing to do? Place someone as your keeper and then not start them? Is that advisable?
That's a solid question, and I think that's where this show comes in handy. Because here's the pro tip: don't ever fucking do that. If you're gonna keep somebody, fucking start them. They need to be a starter, not someone for 2 years, because you can't keep them another 2 years.
Yeah, because he does have Geno Smith, who he kept. And again, Geno will probably be in some shootouts because the Raiders are a shitty organization. So he kept him for $13, but he's on the bench. So I'll be curious to see, are you the champ and then you're drafting for depth, or are you actually going to swing for the fences and hit a home run? Or did you maybe just get a little lucky last year and his son run no injuries? And you'll maybe get exposed this year. I don't know, but I love some of his picks. I don't know if I see a repeat happening for his current roster construction. But that's just a humble opinion of the co-commissioner,
Maybe
you know.
it is a humble opinion indeed. Maybe it is truly to plan for the worst, meaning he's banking on an injury in one of his QBs, and knowing that QBs are always taken up in our league fairly quickly, a la having to start Daniel Jones or something like that. Like he wanted to stash that. Maybe that's the play.
Yeah, no, I could see that. I think drafting for depth is probably more of a bitch move, but I could see it.
I hear you. I hear you. Tomato, tomato. What else? What else sparks your mind, co-commish from this last draft? Anything else you want to talk about here? Other people's teams.
You know, I think we got to talk about my team just for a little bit. Like,
we don't need to talk about your team for a little bit. Arguably, best keepers this year. Arguably, I will absolutely give you your flowers on that.
Wait, I think we can just get rid of the word arguably, right? Like, best keepers.
Well, you could keep Trey McBride and get George Kittle, I guess, right?
Yeah, and then you could have a running back with a soft tissue injury. That'd be great. But Din, how does it feel when you look at my team and you see two of the top 4 quarterbacks on one roster? Like, how does that make you feel? I know how it makes me feel as the owner of this team, but I wanted to get an outside perspective for someone who doesn't have that many top quarterbacks. How does it make you feel?
I have 2 top quarterbacks.
No. Top 4.
Oh.
But we're talking about quarterbacks who actually can run the ball. We're not talking about Joe Burrow having to have 500 passing touchdowns to hit expectations at $47.
Well, we know so to answer your question, first I'll make a point and then I'll answer your question. We know that you have the biggest Woody for running quarterbacks. Like if you could tush push Mr. Jalen Hurts, you probably tush push him with your Woody, right? We get it, Justin. We get it. That said, it's a tough pill to swallow for a lot of the league team that probably wanted Jaden Daniels, wanted Jalen Hurts, right? But some team members, like Daniel, prefer pocket passers with a little bit of run, right? I think that there's something to be said about the upside on passing yardage, because if you recall, I won the league not running 2 quarterbacks, and the quarterback that I did have was a passing quarterback.
I'm so proud of you. That was great that you finally won. That was good.
Well, I just want to make sure you know that I won not running a 2 quarterback situation.
I don't think anyone is aware that you did that in league, so I'm glad you're able to bring that up.
Yeah. Pro tip: it doesn't have to be 2 QBs. But going back to your question, if I were in other managers' shoes other than myself, I'd be a little envious. Maybe the word jealousy would come out. Sure, 100%.
Yeah. So I just wanted to like. You have to have established keepers, and hopefully when you have established keepers, you swing for the fences and go big or go home.
Or start them. You got to start them.
Yeah, you generally want to start your key. Maybe I should talk to Brian, and maybe I should bench Brian Thomas. Maybe I should do that.
If you're going to bench Brian Thomas, holler at your co-commish on the side.
Let's do it. Yeah, right? No, Brian Thomas ain't getting traded. He's locked up for the next year as well. So
nice.
Super excited. But there is a lot of players on the trade block. We might have some trades happening soon.
I think everyone put like all sorts of players on a trade block. Some put them on there just for the shit of it. I'm sure of it.
What are you, when you look at the league? What is there anything from the draft that you want to talk about? Whether it be like someone's team, a team you're concerned about, from a like, ooh, I have to face them, or I'm concerned they might have to wear a bright neon leotard. Like, is there anyone that you look at team wise?
I am proud and excited for Billy P. I think he drafted really underneath the shadows one of the best teams that I see this year. Of course, minus you, because you're always gonna like talk about your team being the best, and it's not. You proved that last year. But Billy P showed some extraordinary poise. He spent some money, unlike Billy P of yesteryears. Yesteryear, Billy P was value, which was an Ant and Peter play. Pro tip: that may not be your best advantage in this league. But Billy P, I'm excited to see what happens with him. Is he gonna make the playoffs 2 years in a row? I'm gonna say yes right now. I think he's gonna go deep into the playoffs. I like Mikey T's team. I love that he's stashing Jackson Dart. I think Dart's going to start soon. I like Mikey T's team. Quiet little draft from him. Obviously, he wasn't present. Wish he was, but he had a solid draft. My team, I'm pretty excited about it. It's boom or bust, truly. I have 3 teams that I double stacked on. It's boom or bust for me. So I have a chance if I go bust that I might lose it all this year. But the other team that I'm really worried about a little bit, I'm concerned about Kenny's team this year. I'm concerned about Peter's team this year, but Kenny's more so.
When you say you're concerned, is this like you have eyes on them and you're concerned that they're going to do well against you?
No. We started off the show talking about eyes on a team, not necessarily for the good, right reasons. I have eyes on his team because I'm worried about his team getting last place this year.
Gotcha.
That's the eyes.
I think he's really excited about Juwan Jennings, who I think is still holding out, has an injury. I think he bagged on Omar for grabbing Marvin Harrison Jr. last year, and now he's got Marvin Harrison Jr. But I think the biggest thing is like you're starting Russ Wilson and Daniel Jones. Oh my goodness! Live news. He actually just put David Montgomery in his super flex. He doesn't even have Daniel Jones in there. He's pulling the din. He's got Daniel.
Let's go.
He's got David Montgomery in his super flex. Let's go.
Kenny, let's go. Hey,
this ain't a 2 QB league, baby.
That decision, Kenny, might just save you from not going last place right there. Your boy David Montgomery, I offered you a bet, 13.5 touchdowns. You were yapping, and still no response. So I'm going to put it here in the public space. 13.5 tutties, over under. I will take the under if you're willing to bet. Holler at your boy.
Let's go.
Let's go. So we got a couple minutes here. I'm going to head and get some lunch. Any other hot takes you want to discuss? You asked me the questions before this AOL Zoom free trial ends here in about 4 minutes. What's your hot takes on eyes that need to be seen on teams?
Let me look here. I think, I don't see like one's like a big stud on Peter's team. Like I think his biggest stud standout would be
Jordan Addison?
Drake London.
Oh, okay, sorry. sorry.
No, it's funny. I think Jordan Addison actually went to Ant's team. It was him and Peter were kind of battling it out.
Oh, that's right.
I think Peter ended up getting Ricky Pearsall for like $14 or something like that. Which I wanted Ricky Pearsall, but I was
Me too.
Like $2 or $3.
I was gonna bid $2.50 for him.
I do get concerned that Drake London, who I love Drake London by the way, is his like stud. So he's gonna need some great performance from some medium players. So I get concerned about him. And then I'm also, let's look at Ant's team really quick. We talked a little bit about Ant, but let's just double check it.
Drake London, big fan of him, by the way. I think really low-end wide receiver 1 has a really good potential upside to really dominate the league this year with Michael Penix. But go ahead.
Yeah, I think Ant's team is kind of a little similar to yours in that like there is a boomer bust aspect of it. I think Tyreek Hill could go off the deep end and quit the team mid throughout the season.
Quit the league?
He could just literally just say I'm done, right? He could go Antonio Brown this year. Jerry Jeudy will be great for him, but once Flacco's done, he might be a little bust there. So I'm a little worried about Ant's team, but I was also worried last year and I got proven wrong. So I think Ant will definitely make some wheeling and dealing happening. But I do think that like we're all concerned for Kenny. Kenny self-admitted like, dude, I screwed this draft over. He said he kind of whispered into my ear and like was trying to like have me console him and like give him a hug, but I just said, dude, get the hell away from me. No, I didn't. He
didn't whisper it. He actually texted his wife and relayed that entire message to all of us. He said he fucked up the draft, if you remember.
So I hope Kenny like can just stay composed because I saw a loss of composure I've never seen before. So I hope he can stay composed just throughout the year. But I'm going to return to the playoffs. I think that's an easy proclamation right now. Like I will absolutely be returning to the playoffs. So and then I hope I get Omar in the semis because Omar hasn't won a playoff game. Then I hope I get Cage or Mikey T in the finals because that's a guaranteed like just a lock-up win. So
I'm probably going to see you in the ship. I'll see you in the ship.
I think our league would blow up and self-destruct if Cage and Mikey T face each other in the finals, because neither of them can ever seal the deal. So we know that won't happen. So if you get Cage,
it ends in a tie.
Yeah, it just ends in a fucking tie, and the league just explodes. So donezo.
I did have this on my notes to discuss. I'll throw it out there as we wrap up. Cage's wide receivers are questionable. Not questionable as if they're hurt or not playing this year. Questionable as in Nico Collins was his first wide receiver one, and he didn't draft another wide receiver for another 2 hours.
Yeah, Cage is like the anti-me sometimes. Like, I love, and I guess Omar's in this too. Omar loves wide receivers. I love me some wide receivers. And man, I had Derrick Henry on my list, and I was upbidding Cage a little bit. I'm like, maybe I can get Derrick Henry. I'm like, boom, what am I kidding? I'm not gonna get Derrick Henry. I'll just upbid a little more. But yeah, Cage loves his RBs. But his argument, and I guess look at your perspective on it, is this wide receiver 2 is just Brock Bowers, which is gonna be better than everyone else's tight end.
Sure, but we're running 3 wide receivers. You have to fill those. One tight end is not going, although he is top tier, if not the best. I don't think he can make up for the lack of depth in wide receiver because you're running 3 of them.
Would you be comfortable as Michael Pittman as your wide receiver 3?
Maybe, but not really.
Would you be comfortable as Keon Coleman as your flex?
No.
I mean, you have Marvin Mims in your flex. So that's why I'm kind of like
that man's I told you I'm double stacking. That's the boom or bust.
Marvin Mims is going to put up either like 0.5 points or he's going to go off like 30.
Exactly. Boom or bust, baby.
Yeah, Cage's wide receivers are concerning. I face him week 1, so I'm sad that Cage will probably go 1-1 or 0-2 to start out. But I'll be happy that like I get to face him twice, so that'll be great.
I played the Beard week 1, so that'll be fun for me to see how that turns out.
Is it weird looking at Beard's name and seeing like the little championship ribbon next to it? Does it feel weird or not right to you?
No, not really. It's just as weird seeing you trying to win the championship. It's just the same.
Trying to?
Yeah.
There's some people in this league who haven't even won a playoff game. So like I think if you've won a championship before, or if you won a playoff game before, I just want to give you a shout out. Anyone in this league. There's only a few of us, but we're all here.
As we wrap up here, who are those?
That have won a championship?
No, have not won a playoff game.
Well, I know for sure Omar has not.
Peter, he's brand new. He hasn't won. Right.
Ant was in the playoffs, but I don't think he got a W last year, did he?
No.
Yeah, no. We know Mikey T has won. Cage has won. We'll have to look back at the history to see if Wyckoff, but maybe Wyckoff and Omar are kind of on the same wavelength of not winning a playoff matchup.
Okay.
We'll have to do some fact checking there. But yeah, I think it's probably Omar's probably the only one besides some of the newbies who haven't won a playoff game, and maybe Wyckoff. So, but that kind of makes sense. They're probably all in the same kind of category as fantasy players, you know?
All right, brother. Well, it's great to shoot the shit. We are excited for the new season, boys. Gentlemen's Club, get your engines ready. We're about to have a wild roller coaster of a season. Already great NFL news coming out, hot off the presses that we talked about. Pro tip, check your lineup, set your auto sub, and make sure you start those keepers. Those are your 3 takeaways today. Justin Gunn, appreciate your time, my man.
Let's go.
Let's go.